Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing new week. Currently it is Monday and let's get right to the charts as Bitcoin has just printed the most important weekly close right here, as you can see, and basically, to say it in short, we are potentially about to enter a bear market with this close below the 50 EMA. You can see historically we always wicked below it, but then the buyers stepped back in almost immediately and then pushed the price above it. You can see we have 3 tests in a row. If we measure it from last year until now, we have broken below it right here, you can see, and there were no buyers at all to step in. And right now you can see we are still consolidating in this macro golden pocket right here from the lows from April to the all-time highs, and this is also potentially another zone where Bitcoin may find a bottom just for a bit until we potentially retest 98 to 99k, and then we go once again to the downside to basically fill the CME gap that we have right here. If we pull it up, you can see right around, we need basically the CME chart to drop below 91.5k in order for this gap to be filled. Now you can see if we measure it from right now, this would be just a 2.6% of a move, which is nothing. But in my opinion, since we are right now sitting in this Fibonacci golden pocket right here, we are firstly going to be seeing somewhat of a bounce to the upside, since we have been all the way falling down basically the whole time from last Tuesday, which we are, in my opinion, due for somewhat of a relief pump to the upside. We did get, if we go on the lower time frame, like the 1 hourly, you can see today we did have a pump towards the upside. Basically, this was from the New York market open. We pumped 2.5% and Bitcoin rejected from those highs right here. Basically, we failed to push above 96,000, and right now we are also falling down potentially to the weekly R1, weekly S1, excuse me, which is sitting at 92.5, and this is basically the price where the CME gap would be. Of course, the charts are a little bit different. So on the CME futures, if we go down, basically we are going to be seeing a further drop on the normal chart. If we go to down here, since you can see right now on the CME we are at 94 and the normal charts are sitting at 93.7. So you can see there is like $500-600 of a price difference. So if we drop down here to 91.5, basically on this chart we might drop all the way down to 89, basically below 90,000, which would be also very bearish. Ethereum right now also not looking the best. We did have also pump for Ethereum on New York market open, but as you can see we failed to also reach the weekly pivot, and right now price is pushing towards the downside once again. The other altcoins like Solana, you can see right here, also had a very bearish weekly candle closure. We are right now sitting below the 0 macro 786 Fibonacci ratio, you can see right here. So it is very possible that we are about to test the value area low of this macro range, which would be another almost 5-6% move towards the downside. Hype basically still sitting at the same price, while the other altcoins are melting to the downside. You can see Hype is basically still ranging in this range right here after the capitulation that we had. So we are right now sitting below the POC, and the next target would be around $35 to the value area low of the range. SUI, I won't even comment about it. XRP still ranging right here, you can see. The pump token also looking very bad right now. Now I want to talk about the stock market for a little bit. You can see the stock market is doing well compared to crypto. Basically, we did lose the weekly pivot, as you can see right here, but we are somewhat trying to recover above the 200 EMA on the hard time frames. You can see on the 4 hourly, on the 12 hourly, we are sitting right now well above the 100 EMA. The Nasdaq also currently right now trading around the weekly pivot. On the 4 hourly we are below the 200 EMA, so if we start to reclaim this level, we might test the weekly R1 for this week. So as you can see, stock market still doing well, but basically if we pull out a range like this, you can see we are still somewhat in a consolidation pattern that we have right here. So I would not be surprised if some of those levels act as support and resistance, but as you can see, a very interesting pattern would be forming right around here. So we might go towards the up of this range right here, and then we might reject once again to test the bottom right here. But overall, stock market is doing better than crypto for right now. The Bitcoin dominance is right now sitting at 59.43%. Basically on the daily we drop below the EMA support, and potentially they are starting to curve to the downside, which might mean that the altcoins might get somewhat of a strength. But if we start reclaiming the weekly pivot and the 50 moving average on the daily time frame, then we are going to be seeing the Bitcoin dominance once again rise to the upside. But as you can see on the daily, in my opinion, there is still a little bit of room left to potentially more downside until we reach the 58.1%, which will be the 100 EMA. Now let's look at some liquidity for Bitcoin. You can see on the monthly time frame, we are grabbing almost all of the liquidity while leaving a lot of liquidations to the upside. But if we switch to the yearly chart, you can see right here, basically we do have most of the liquidity for right now sitting towards the downside, waiting to be taken out. We are right now taking out the important liquidity that we have right here, as you can see, around 93k. The next one would be basically the bigger cluster would be sitting right here at 82k. But firstly, we want to see the bulls defend this level for Bitcoin before we can talk for further downside. Otherwise, the 200 EMA is sitting at 67,000, the 100 sitting at 85k. So 85k also considerable, very potential target. You can see we do have liquidity, and basically we also have liquidity below at the lows of 80k and below 74k, of course, because this bottom did not get swept yet. So we might see the worst case scenario, Bitcoin going below the April lows. It might happen, it might not, but firstly we want to see the current levels being held, like the macro golden pocket, and then the 786 and the 886 would be the deeper retracements. And if we start dropping below 74k, that would be a structure break on the monthly time frame. Basically, you can see right here, if we get ourselves a trend line, this has been acting a basically bull market support right here. So if we close below this level right here, this would mean a hard time frame structure break and potentially a year-long bear market that we had right here during from 2021 all the way up to December 2022. So it is also very possible for this to happen. If we close the monthly candle this deep, then it would mean that we are potentially going to get a engulfing candle to the downside. Basically, it means that the candle will repeat we are going to print almost the same candle body, which would basically take us down to these lows, but we still have 13 days left of this month. So it is very possible that we finally see some buyers step in back to push this price up. And I think this will be it for today, guys. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.